All right, let's do this. Do you like this stuff?
I do like this stuff.
Anyway, pre-show cheers. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. My name is Darren. This is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap. So, how's it going?
Doing good, man.
Doing good?
Doing really good, yeah.
Perfect.
How about you?
Well, anyway, so again, first of all, everybody, welcome to the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is one of the things we get a lot of comments on that we're going to go ahead and address right at the beginning of the show, is they always ask us, what are we drinking? So,
Hey, Darren, why don't you tell the fine folks what we're drinking on?
all right, so today we're sipping on a Kentucky single malt from a distillery called Town Brand. This was a gift from a good friend of mine. This is aged 7 years, 87 proof. Basically what it is a single malt, so there's not like a whole bunch of difference. The mash bill is just one malt. It's not like barley, rye.
Yeah.
It's all just one single malt. So it's a good friend of mine. Josh gave this bottle to me, and yeah, I really like it.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. I like it a lot. We've
Yep.
had this a couple times on it, and it's good to keep us going.
Yeah, it's
For
nice
sure.
to have a little something to sip on there. You know, usually when you have these kind of conversations about sports, you're usually drinking with a friend. So
Yep.
we figured we'll have a glass with
Have
you
a glass?
fine folks. Yeah.
Yep.
So keep in mind, folks, this is as well as a podcast. You can find the full episode of everything that we talk about today in a podcast form in its entirety. You can find us on Amazon, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio podcasts.
We're working on iTunes. It's coming soon enough.
Yeah, something about it's so weird.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTubey stuff, like I always say. We
Yep.
appreciate it.
With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and start talking about some sports, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's the first topic of the day? We want to talk NBA? Is that what
Yeah, I love talking NBA. That's my favorite thing, man. You know
Okay.
me. So I think one thing that's kind of still in motion here as far as the NBA is the buyout market. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like a lot of players, obviously the trade deadline's gone and passed. We've discussed that on a past episode. Go listen to that one if you haven't so far.
Yep, link in the comment down below.
Yep. But the current NBA buyout market is pretty interesting, actually. We've got Russell Westbrook traded to the Jazz over the trade deadline.
Yep.
It was kind of rumored. We didn't know if he was going to stay with the Jazz or take a buyout and go somewhere else.
Right.
Over the last couple of days, he signed with the Clippers. I don't know. What's your thought on that? How do you think he's going to do for the Clippers? What do you think?
So, well, the evidence that I've seen so far, they played one game with him on the team. I believe he did Westbrook things as usual. It's basically just a complete and total, offensive juggernaut of a team. There's no, I said midway through the third quarter is 127 to 115 or something ridiculous like that, midway through the third quarter. So, I don't know, that's kind of crazy for me. I mean, to think you have a player like Paul George, who is known as, a fairly decent defensive player. Yep.
And then you have, Kawhi Leonard, who's won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
To have those two players on there, I see adding Russell Westbrook as more of an offensive move. He's averaging just under 16 points a game with the Lakers this year, which is definitely going to help them on the offensive side of the ball. Do I think that's a ground-changing move for the Clippers? No, I think that's a wash.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see that being. I don't think that takes the Clippers to the next level.
no, but the one thing about the trade that I think was actually smart is that what they're doing is they're basically taking a page out of the Toronto Raptors book from how they handled Kawhi, which was load management.
That just drives me nuts with the load management.
Yeah, but it worked for Toronto. All the players on the Toronto Raptors team, all their audience, all their fans and everything were getting all up in arms about the whole load management, how he only played in like 30% of the games that he was with Toronto.
Yeah.
But he went from playing like very minimum role to in the playoffs he was averaging over 38 minutes a game.
I guess that's true. When you can come and bring it in the playoffs, like That's the only point that matters. If you can make
Yeah.
it to the playoffs and you can win in the playoffs, nothing else matters.
Yeah, I mean, none of the Raptors fans were complaining about his load management after they won a ring.
After they won a championship. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what they need to be doing. I mean, Kawhi Leonard has a history of injury, and has a history of having those problems, staying on the court. So, what you'll see over the last couple of weeks, about I think the last like 5 or 6 games or so, his minutes is starting to spike up. They're really starting to ramp him up, kind of like a starting pitcher in the MLB. Start with a lower work and then ramp him up so he's ready to go for playoffs. So I see that being something they're going to do with him, and I think having Westbrook there is just a perfect way to make sure that if something does come up, like a little nagging injury or something come on, then
you've still got some offensive firepower.
Yeah, Russ will handle the offensive load to make sure that you stay even kill and stay in the playoffs.
And that's a great point. I mean, Russell Westbrook is an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to bring the flexibility with Kawhi off the court.
Yep.
I still don't. I don't know. I still don't know if I see it. We both know Russell Westbrook cannot carry a team to a championship by himself.
No.
So unless you have all three of those pieces, I mean, I don't know.
I think it does enough to complement the 2 stars in the team and keeping them healthy when it matters. That's kind of the big thing. I think why we all thought it was a reactionary move, and it definitely was a reactionary move. Because what you need is Kawhi who performs well in the playoffs. Paul George does not perform well in the playoffs.
No.
So
no, he does not.
Playoff P.
Playoff P.
He needs to be fresh and ready for the playoffs. And they really need that good third option. It's going to make a difference, but is it going to be enough? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. No. I mean, only time will tell on that one. My opinion is Russell Westbrook is clearly out of his prime of his career. Mm-hmm. He's still a fantastic player. He can still contribute. But I think he's I think you're right.
I think all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Kawhi and Paul George, their injury,
But I mean, at what point is adding 3 past their prime players to a roster going to get you anywhere?
Worked in the bubble. Ask the Lakers.
It worked in the bubble.
Thanks,
Darren.
And yes, I did just put AD as past his prime. So you guys
was past his prime 5 years ago.
You guys can put it in the comments all you want about that one, because that was intentional. But yeah, okay. So we do know that Russell Westbrook, his value to a team always going to bring. Anybody else in the buyout market that you can think of that you?
I think the other real big one was the Kevin Love. I mean, Kevin Love getting bought out, by the Cavs. But I mean, he's been with the Cavs for quite a few years now. Won the championship with LeBron there. So he gets bought out. It's kind of rumored, he hasn't had a great season. I mean, he's only averaging 8.5 points per game this season with the Cavs, which is a career low.
Yeah, what is his minutes? What kind of minutes is he getting?
It's very low. I mean, he's been fighting a thumb injury the whole season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how much of that is an
buyout.
Actual injury, though?
That's just it. How much is just not interested in playing with this team, or really the Cavs have built a team that is completely complementary without Kevin Love. They don't need to put Kevin Love on the floor. Is it Kevin Love
that's dealing with the injury, or is it the team using that injury to keep Kevin Love out the floor?
I mean, there's a reason they bought him out.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry. What were we?
But no. I mean, yeah. So he goes on to sign with the Heat. I think he got into his first game last night. Some of the images were released by, in his new Heat jersey and all that stuff. I don't. This is another one of those players way past their prime. I mean, I think Kevin Love's looking for another ring before he goes. He thinks, the Heat was a team that showed some interest in him. I don't think he even has the ability to move the Richter scale for the Heat. I mean, you've got Jimmy Butler on that team that's going to look to carry everything.
Yeah, but Love hasn't been able to be the player that he is.
Since he left the
Timberwolves.
Yeah.
He's not a corner 3-point shooter.
No.
He'll be able to shoot the corner 3 or the top of the range 3, just above the bend 3. That was his shot when he was with the Timberwolves for 3-point shooting.
Right.
Was the top of the key 3.
Top of the key, yeah, because he was like a trailer player in that.
Yeah. So, and then they would set up the offense, and Ricky Rubio would deal it to him, and
love you, Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky. Great player, man.
I love Ricky Rubio, dude.
Yeah, dude, you think after...
He still plays for the Cavs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He still
That's what I'm talking about. Bring it, Ricky.
Yeah. Think about this. Okay, so Kevin Love is now going to be probably playing in more of the traditional role that he was meant to play when he was with Minnesota, now playing in Miami. You got Jimmy Butler that's going to be basically handling the ball, running pick and rolls with Kevin Love, who's going to either cut to the basket or be available for a pop-out mid-ranger. I definitely think that he does enough to move the needle for the Heat, but not enough to get past Boston, maybe not even past the Bucks. I think he does move the needle for them, but not necessarily getting them to the finals.
I would be surprised if you see Kevin Love getting a whole lot of minutes with this Heat team. They're already successful. Yeah, I mean they're already successful with the team that they've put together. Like, are you going to take Kevin Love out? Are you going to put Kevin Love out there and take one of these younger players, take minutes away from one of these younger players that you guys are already successul with? Yeah,
I would. And there's two reasons why. One, playoff experience matters. Like, if you...
Fantastic point.
You got to have, when the moment becomes too big for these guys and they get the yips, which they will have in some games where they're just making mistakes.
It's going to be there, absolutely.
You need to be able to pull them out and have somebody there that can have some stability, who's been in the playoffs, who knows what they're doing, just to kind of weather the tide. I agree with you. He's not going to take too many minutes away, but having that option there, I think, is going to keep them from, having too many postseason turnovers, basically. It's kind of where I'm going with that.
Only time will tell, huh?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, I don't see anybody coming out of the East but the Boston Celtics. So, buyout market, there's a couple other ones. We had Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, so Reggie Jackson was traded from Clippers to the Hornets. The Hornets bought him out, and then
that makes more sense. I'm sorry.
He inked his deal.
Yeah. I think he helps the Nuggets team.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to create some space. He's always going to be out in space, looking to shoot the 3-point ball.
Mm-hmm.
You've got one of your favorite players, Nikola Jokic. That's what that guy. That guy just thrives for 3-point shooters. That's what the Nuggets are missing. Really, they don't have a ton of great 3-point. You got Aaron Gordon. That's a good pickup. That's a good pickup for a good Nuggets team.
He's a shoot-first point guard that can't really distribute. That's not a traditional point guard, but that's not what the Nuggets need. The ball's going to go through Jokic. So when he's in the post, picking and popping, and he's got now another shooter that he can kick the ball out to that has a little bit of playmaking ability.
Yep.
That's only going to make that team better. So first team in the West did definitely get a little bit better with that, for sure.
I think so. Terrence Ross, he gets bought out by the Magic, signs with the Suns. That's maybe not a bad pickup for the Suns to add a little bit of bench depth. I mean, he 12.7 points per game, shooting 35% from three. I mean, the Suns were looking like they had 5 players that they could put on the court.
Yeah,
and then nobody knew the rest of the roster. So
that was 100%. We talked about that in a previous episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
About the KD trade and how they basically pushed all their chips in the middle with those 5 players. So definitely a good point.
That gives a little bit of bench depth. I mean, Terrence Ross he's a serviceable player. I mean, still shooting the 3 pretty good. We'll give him some options when some of those guys got to come off and hopefully get some effective minutes. Danny Green signs with the Cavaliers. He was with the Grizzlies. He agreed to a 1-year deal with the Cavs. Danny Green is like the one player that everyone's heard of, but no one's seen in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a good season since he left the Spurs, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 3 points per game with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
He's not playing a ton of minutes. But it was a buyout that we needed to talk about.
And he was playing with Memphis. I bet he's happy to be off that Memphis team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know where there was a whole lot of room for him to come in and play with me. I mean, to only average 3 points per game, and that's literally like 1 3-pointer per game that he's probably even attempting. I just don't see a whole lot of shots on that Memphis team for a player like Danny Green. I could definitely see why he would want to move on from the Memphis Grizzlies. I just don't think there's a ton of room for him. So there's a couple buyouts that players are just kind of sitting. They haven't signed anywhere yet. We still got Stanley Johnson. I mean, only notable because he was the number 8 overall pick in 15. His season so far, he's shooting 45% from 3, so he could probably still be a pretty serviceable option somewhere.
Yeah.
Will Barton, he was traded to the Wizards from the Nuggets. He averaged 14.7 points per game last season. Will Barton's, I'm sure he gets picked up somewhere. Will Barton's still a really good player. I think he's still got some life, and he's still definitely got some career in the NBA somewhere.
And so he has until the first to be
correct. Yep.
To make a roster, to be eligible for a playoff roster.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you think he gets picked up?
I would be surprised if someone doesn't get. Yeah, for sure. Will Barton's a good player.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think he'll end up on a playoff roster somewhere.
Okay.
Then there's a couple pending buyouts on a big name player. John Wall, he was traded from the Clips back to the Rockets.
Yeah. That
So
was interesting.
John Wall was not very happy about that. He's actually been noted in the media to say that the Rockets are a trash organization.
Yeah.
Those are air quotes if you're listening to the podcast.
Yep.
He has been in contact with the Bulls, looking
He's
like
not
that
wrong
might be a
though.
place.
He's not wrong though.
The Rockets have really struggled, man.
I think it's all on purpose though. Like the players don't like the idea of tanking, but the organization does. And so he's like, we really want you to be a mentor for these things. We're not going to guarantee you minutes. And so he's like, look, if you guys aren't going to play me, then get me out of here. You know, so that's kind of his attitude.
And to be a huge name like John Wall, though, dude, like you think it wasn't that long ago that he was. I mean, I'm pretty sure an NBA All-Star at one point, right?
He was an NBA All-Star. He was also a potential MVP candidate, I believe, back in 2015, 2016. He was like in the top
like
five.
quite a player. Yeah.
Yeah. He averaged. I mean, back at his, I believe his All-Star seasons were 2013 to 2018. He was an All-Star 5 years in a row. So, you know, he definitely was. He definitely was up there for sure.
Yeah.
You know. Very much so, averaging, you know, anywhere from 19 to 23 points per game.
I could definitely see him landing with the Bulls. He's been in contact with them supposedly, and I could see him helping that roster. Lonzo Ball looks to be out pretty long term.
How they screw that injury up, man. Like, I don't know if it's. I definitely think it's on the organization, not on him. In this one, like they brought him back way too early.
Way too early.
You know.
I mean, you can tell the Bulls are pushing. You know, they want to make the playoff spot. They've got some great young talent.
Yep.
But Lonzo Ball, I mean, you got to take your time with that one. You know, make sure he's right.
This move,
Make
though,
sure
if
he
they
can
do
come
get
back.
John Wall with Zach LaVine not hurt. He's not hurt, is he?
No, Zach LaVine's healthy. Yeah.
So you got him and Zach LaVine in the backcourt. Oh gosh, Lopez brother. He's on that team, right?
Yep. Yeah, one of the Lopez brothers.
One of the Lopez brothers on that team. He actually had he was the coach of one of the teams in the All-Star break.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, one of the Rising Stars teams. Or
Yeah, I can't remember if
celebrity
his team
teams?
won or not.
I can't remember.
Yeah. All I know is that Darren Williams' team got bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
Probably because of that bleached hair. What the heck is that about?
The other pending buyout. Yeah, right. What's up with that Darren Williams?
Come on, man. You're in your 30s, man. Come on. I definitely like the idea of John Wall being picked up by the Bulls.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have enough to get past Miami. Definitely doesn't have enough to get past maybe Milwaukee. I don't know how well they're playing with.
I don't know, man.
With,
I don't bet anybody against Milwaukee, bro.
Well, with his thumb injury.
He'll be fine.
Or
He's
wrist or
Giannis
whatever it is.
Antetokounmpo, man.
Yeah. So we'll see.
NBA training staffs.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not past Boston for sure.
No.
So
I
we'll
don't
see.
think so.
We'll see. Yeah. You see that the one basket he got in the All-Star game, he jammed his broken hand against the rim. Just like, dude, come on, man. Just a pick and pop, man. You don't need to go hard to the rim.
Come on. You could have laid it up, Giannis. You're 8 feet tall for a reason.
And nobody was guarding you, you know. So
I'm excited to see where some of these players end up. I'm excited to get going on the last 20 or so games of the NBA season.
But yeah, again, folks, if you're listening to us on a podcast, we would really appreciate a review and subscribe to our podcast on wherever you find podcasts.
Yep, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Leave us all your comments, good, bad, and different. We want to hear it all. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Absolutely. See you next week. Thanks.